In today's biased news, Kevin McCarthy gets thrown out as Speaker of the House, Turkey conducts airstrikes in Iraq, and Scotland makes progress on drug rehabilitation. The Speaker of the House, Republican Kevin McCarthy, has been unexpectedly removed from his position by members of his own party. The Republicans hold a narrow majority in the lower chamber of Congress, and McCarthy's fate was sealed when 8 rebel Republicans joined the Democrats in a 216 to 210 final vote. The rebellion was led by Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, who accused McCarthy of making a secret side deal with President Biden on Ukraine aid. However, this removal was the culmination of a year-long feud between McCarthy and a faction in his party who had previously tried to block his election as Speaker. They believed he could not be trusted to uphold conservative principles, particularly after he struck a deal with Democrats in June to raise the debt ceiling without the deep cuts they demanded. The process to replace McCarthy as Speaker will begin with discussions among House members during a week-long recess. In the interim, Patrick McHenry of North Carolina leads a list of temporary leaders submitted by McCarthy, but he does not have the power to run the chamber fully. The Speaker of the House plays a crucial role in running the chamber and is second in line for the presidency. This leadership vacuum at the top of the US government raises concerns, especially as there are pressing issues such as agreeing on an annual budget, handling the Ukraine question, and deciding how to proceed with the impeachment inquiry of Joe Biden. The removal of a speaker in this manner has implications for the already abysmal reputation of the US government, as it further erodes international confidence in the country's political system, and reinforces the domestic perception that it's not functioning effectively. A judge in the civil fraud trial against Donald Trump has imposed a limited gag order, instructing all involved not to attack court personnel after Trump maligned a court staffer in a social media post. The trial continued with the state's attorney questioning an accountant to support their case that Trump and his company systematically lied about his wealth on financial statements. The judge clarified that the trial wasn't an opportunity to relitigate previous rulings, and Trump continues to deny any wrongdoing. The trial focuses on remaining claims, with the New York Attorney General seeking $250 million in penalties and a business ban on Trump in New York. Some of Trump's companies have already dissolved as part of the case. Turkey conducted airstrikes on numerous Kurdish targets in northern Iraq in response to a suicide attack on a government building in Ankara. The Turkish Interior Ministry reported that about 20 targets of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, were destroyed, including caves, shelters, and depots. In response to these Turkish airstrikes, the president of Iraq expressed his country's dissatisfaction with the repeated Turkish attacks and the presence of Turkish bases in the Kurdistan region, urging a diplomatic resolution to the issue. The suicide attack in Ankara occurred near an entrance to the Interior Ministry building, injuring 2 police officers, with one assailant killed in a shootout with the police. The PKK claimed responsibility for the attack, and have stated that it was time to coincide with the reopening of the Turkish parliament. This attack is the first since March 2016, when a car bomb killed 37 people in Ankara. Turkey's parliament is expected to consider Sweden's bid to join NATO in the coming weeks, with President Erdogan emphasizing the importance of agreeing on an updated constitution in the new session. European leaders condemned the terrorist attack and have expressed support for Turkey's fight against terrorism. In Slovakia's parliamentary elections, the self-professed leftist party led by former Prime Minister Robert Fico emerged as the winner. The party, Smer, secured nearly 23% of the vote and campaigned on 2 main messages: no more military support for Ukraine, and no more sanctions against Russia. Fico's party is set to lead discussions to form a new government, likely with the participation of the left-wing Hlas Party and the ultranationalist Slovak National Party. Fico's stance on Ukraine involves ending military support and refraining from sending further arms, a position that deviates from Slovakia's previous support for the country. And in positive news for the day, Glasgow has been granted permission to establish the UK's first Safer Drug Consumption Room, or DCR, pilot, marking a significant step in addressing Scotland's drug death crisis. The £2.3 million pilot will operate within an existing health centre in Glasgow's East End, offering a secure, supervised, and private space for individuals to inject illegal drugs. Trained staff will be available to provide overdose prevention and support. This development became possible after Scotland's chief law officer determined that it was not in the public interest to prosecute DCR users for drug possession. Drug reform activist Peter Crikant, who previously initiated an unsanctioned overdose prevention service in Glasgow, expressed his enthusiasm for the decision, and hopes to see similar facilities established in cities across Scotland and the UK. That's all for today. We'll be back day after tomorrow with more news. If you'd like to see longer episodes with more in-depth analysis, consider becoming a patron so we can grow and expand.